Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys That Magic. This is Hunter.
This is Dave.
Welcome back to spoiler season, Modern Horizons 2 edition. Today is May 25th, 2021, and we got some more cool stuff to talk about. Interesting stuff to talk about. Bad stuff to not talk about. Let's just go ahead and move on. What do you think, Dave?
Okay, first off, I want to go ahead and start off by the fact that I am a genius. I know the future. So a couple of things. The other day, I whined and complained about grief, and look at that. Wonder is in the set. There are no other swords, so the number crunching actually does eliminate any other swords. So haha, I was right about that. We are getting what am I looking for? We're getting jebaited, cock teased a little bit.
Yep.
And then the other one is fuck all of you squirrel lovers because Deep Forest Hermit is getting a reprint, and the H in his name is lowercase, even though the D and the F are not. I don't know. Small little things bother me, but
It is very annoying. That bothered me. That's the first thing I noticed when I saw that. I was like, why is that H big but tiny?
just to piss us off.
Yeah. It's but does that Deep Force Hermit does come in only in collect boosters. So
Yeah, I know the price really isn't going to be dropping.
it's why WotC, why? All right, so let's just go with the first card they showed off. That's Patriarchs Bidding. This is a reprint. It is black, 3 generic mana. It is a sorcery. It says each player chooses a creature type. Each player returns all creature cards of the chosen type this way from their graveyard to the battlefield. Wow. That's quite the card.
We got a card that synergizes with Squirrel Tribal coming out of this set.
I don't think so.
Sure,
I mean,
the scrolls are in green and in black. This is a black card that cares about tribes that I haven't seen another tribe so far that we've been, I guess, hinting at here in limited. I don't think that this card is really going to be all that good, though. I know that this was playable at one point in time. I think Modern is way too fast for this. I think even in a limited environment, I don't really know how much I want this kind of effect, because unless I'm very much into tribal, I'm probably only going to be grabbing like maybe 1 or 2 creatures off of this. But I mean, if I am heavy into tribal, then sure, this is fine.
I mean, it'll go into any black tribal EDH deck.
Yeah, I mean, this is a reprint though, so I wouldn't say it will go into. If you wanted this effect, you already had access to it.
But you save some money.
Sure.
Because it's a reprint. Because the original card, do you know how much it cost?
I don't actually.
$50, David.
All right. Well, color me surprised. I would not spend $50 on this kind of an effect.
The foil version is $114.
You know, this is for the scroll players because apparently they spend a lot of money on stupid ass shit.
Hey, it's not just the squirrel players. It's any tribe that's black. And could be vampire. I don't know.
Maybe it's just because they don't play tribal decks. All right, let's move on to the next one.
The next card, Garth One Eye.
So this is the area where I am describing this category as this is your brain on drugs. We have Garth One Eye. He is Wooburg for a legendary creature human wizard. He's a 5/5 with. Tap him. Choose a card name that hasn't been chosen from among Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, and Black Lotus. Create a copy of that card with the chosen name. You may cast the copy, and in parentheses there, it still says you still pay its costs. Okay, so it does a lot. It costs a lot. It has some incredible restrictions on this thing. What are your thoughts, Hunter?
I hate this card.
Oh, I do too.
It's cool to be like, remember this, remember these cards. Yeah. So once you cast all 5 of those cards, this card is worthless. Isn't that cool?
But I mean, look at the bright side, dude. If you cast this by some miraculous means, you manage to get this thing onto the battlefield, and your opponent doesn't kill it, then the next turn you get to tap him and not even use the fact that he's a 5/5, and then you still get to pay for whatever other card you wanted there. I mean, Black Lotus, I think, is going to get a lot of people's attention because it's a Black Lotus. But I mean, if you think about it, you had to pay 5 mana for that Black Lotus because you had to pay for this guy, and you can only actually do it once. I know some people are going to comment on this that yes, this guy can be part of an infinite combo if you have Deadeye Navigator and a haste effect, where you can continue to blink this guy and then you can use that Black Lotus to just kind of go infinite with mana. That's cool. There are much better options out there in terms of what you might want to be doing whenever it comes to infinite mana. So, no, I hate it.
No. Yeah, it's really cool to be like, I just cast a Black Lotus, and now I'm sacking the Black Lotus for some mana. Wasn't that cool?
I guess. I mean, if you drop this, you're gonna have, I guess, 8 mana the next turn. So, woo, ramp.
Woo, ramp. They also said they're not making any of the tokens for these cards to go along with this card. So, crush everybody's hopes and dreams.
Yep.
The next card we have is Grist, the Hunger Tide. Grist, the Hunger Tide is a Planeswalker. This Planeswalker card costs 1 green, 1 black, 1 generic mana. And it says, as long as Grist, the Hunger Tide, isn't on the battlefield, it's a 1/1 insect creature in addition to its other types. It has a +1 ability that creates a 1/1 black and green insect creature token. Then you mill a card. If an insect card was milled this way, put a loyalty counter on Grist and repeat this process. It has a -2 ability that says you may sack a creature. When you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker. And its ultimate at a -5 is each opponent loses life equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. WotC has already said that this can work as a commander because if it's in the command zone, it's a creature.
Thing is the headache.
It seems pretty good, if I'm going to be honest with you.
I feel like there is enough versatility with this card where it should be good. I mean, none of the abilities on this really jump out at me, and the fact that it's +1 cares specifically about insects, I feel like is kind of a safety valve on this. I get that, yeah, it plays into the flavor of the card. I think it's really interesting that it's not considered, or that it is considered to be a 1/1 insect whenever it's not on the battlefield. It means that it kind of frees this thing up where it works really good in multiples, because if you do mill one of these over, hey, look, that +1 actually synergizes.
Hey, look.
The -2 on it is okay. I mean, creature removal, or I guess creature removal or planeswalker removal is, I guess, nice. You do have to have a creature in play in order for that to actually affect anything. And the ultimate, I guess, is cool. I don't know. So like my initial thought on this is like, okay, well, this would obviously want to be played in like a graveyard based deck, but the insect component there doesn't really work for what I'm thinking. I mean, my mind immediately goes to something like Dredge, and I don't think Dredge wants this. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
I think, I mean, we'll get more in depth to it when we do our commander breakdown. But interesting as a insect tribal commander. I'll just say that.
yeah, I think that'd be cool. I mean, it works really well with like Scoot Swarm or like Hornet's Nest, which are decent insects. Neither one really necessarily care about the recursion aspect of being in the graveyard, but I mean, they're insects that see play.
Yeah. Well, moving on. The next one we got was in another language again. This is Aive or Aive. What do you think, David?
Aive. No
Aive.
idea.
This is Aive, Progenitor Ooze. It cost 3 green, 2 generic mana. It's a ooze, legendary. It has Storm. In case you don't know what Storm is when you cast a spell copy for each spell cast before this turn, the copies become tokens. Aive is not a legendary if it's a token. It enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter for each other ooze you control. It's a base 2/2. Seems well, let's start with you. What do you think?
I think we're going to disagree on this. This is a big dumb beater. It's cool that it has Storm. It still costs 5 mana, so how much are you going to Storm off before you drop this thing? I don't think this is the best Storm payoff. I mean, I don't know. It's a big dumb beater that makes other big dumb beaters, and none of them have trample. None of them have any kind of evasion. So, I mean, they don't really do anything to me. They don't win the game on the spot, and I feel like Storm should probably be winning the game the turn it storms off.
Yeah. I mean, so far, the thing that we've learned from today's announcements, I feel there's a theme here, and it's called tribal, tribal, tribal. This is Ooze Tribal.
Yeah, you know, I gotta say, from what we've seen so far of Modern Horizons 2, I don't think I'm much of a fan. I feel like a lot of the cards that we've seen so far, I don't really think are going to have much of an impact, if any, at all in Modern. A lot of these cards I don't really think are all that creative or inspiring for Commander either. I mean, they're cool in that we're getting some new facets of things. We're getting a Planeswalker that has this weird rule where it can be your commander. We're getting a legendary ooze that has Storm on it. So, I mean, they're doing new things, but none of these new things make me actually want to play these cards.
Yeah, it's I don't know. This ooze is gross. For a better word. It literally, at most you can do, imagine you get this off. You know what? I'm not going to discuss it. I'm going to save that as a tease for a Commander video. I want to talk about this card in Commander pretty badly.
Alrighty.
But let's move on. We have a new card as well. That is Sabazz. Sabazz. The Glimmer Wasp. Sabazz the Glimmer Wasp is 1 generic mana for a 0/0 legendary artifact creature, insect. It has modular 1. In case you don't know what modular is, it means it enters the battlefield with that many 1/1 counters. This one is just 1, so it's 1 mana for a 1/1 essentially. If a modular triggered ability would put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. It also has pay 1 red, destroy target artifact you control, and pay 1 white. It gains flying until end of turn. I'm just going to say this real quick. How are you going to put wings on this if it can't fly until you pay for it?
I don't like anything about this card.
Yeah, I think this card is really bad.
You know what? It synergizes with the Planeswalker. The destroy target artifact you control. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that.
You destroy your other modular guys.
Yeah, but I don't give a shit about that. That seems like so much work for me to just spend a ton of red mana to do that. Can't I just use a better sack outlet if that's my game plan?
Yeah. Like I said previously, I feel like today's announcement was tribal, tribal, tribal. And this is modular tribal. It's very weird, man. It's they're getting, I think this card's just trying to be too cute, and I don't think it's paying off at all.
I think that's the set so far.
They're just trying to do new things. This card for 1 mana as a 1/1, and then I don't see it.
Alrighty, up next.
Up next, David, you take us through this one.
Up next, we have Priest of Fell Rites. It's a white and a black for a 2/2 creature. It's a human warlock. It has tap, pay 3 life, sacrifice. Priest of Fell Rites. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. It also has Unearth for 3, a white, and a black. So you can return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. Or, if it would leave the battlefield, Unearth only as a sorcery. Whew, man, that card has a lot of text.
I think it's. I don't know if I like it.
I don't like it.
It's a reanimator that's cheap, but also not good.
You can only do it as a sorcery for both
Yeah.
the normal ability and the Unearth. It actually has to survive, and it doesn't necessarily have a big body. You have to be able to tap with it, and it hurts you for 3.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
I don't have a place where this wants to go.
This
I
the
mean,
as a sorcery. They've been doing this as a sorcery thing for the last couple of cards that could like the last Commanders set, just as a sorcery, ruined those cards.
oh, I know that one line I feel like significantly powers down the effect of whatever it's on, and I don't think that this was really all that pushed of an effect to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that it has on Earth, so you could potentially get a second shot at it, but I don't know. Your game plan has gone horribly wrong if you're playing a reanimator-based style deck and you have to rely on a 5-mana recursion.
It's a big recursion. All right, we got an official announcement from WotC themselves. They actually posted this on their own social media accounts. This card's called Subtlety. And Subtlety is 2 blue, 2 generic mana for a 3/3. It has flash, it has flying. When it enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 target creature spell or planeswalker spell. Its owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. It also has Evoke. All you gotta do is exile a blue card from your hand. So this is the Evoke blue card. We've seen the black, we've seen the red. What do you think?
We saw the red?
Did we see
God,
the red?
I must not remember. I know that we saw the black. The black one is Grief. This one is Subtlety. I think this one is significantly better than the black one. In fact, actually, out of all the cards that we've seen so far from the set, I think this one might have the highest chance of actually seeing play in Modern. It's a really strong effect. And worst case scenario, if you do play this thing as a creature, it's 4 mana for a 3/3 with flying and flash, which is still really, really good. It's a beater. It's an effective beater. It gets in for damage. It closes out games whenever you need it to. And if you need to be able to bounce something, either a creature or a planeswalker, I mean, it's going to put it back on the top of their library. But I mean, in some
Or the
cases, that can
bottom.
be even worse. I mean,
But who's putting it on the bottom?
I mean, it depends. They're most likely going to be putting whatever it is back on the top. But I mean, that is basically just kind of locking them down for a turn, which is really powerful. I like this card a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, they definitely can't see it coming. If you're completely tapped out of mana, you have a counter still.
Yeah, I think this card is really good.
Definitely stuns them for a turn. I don't know. Yeah, I think I also think this card's really good. Of course, WotC saved good cards for themselves, but that's another story.
And it's blue. I can't wait for the white one. Oh man, I'm so excited to see what the white one does.
Just gain some life. That's
It's
it.
probably gonna have to do with gain life, or like you can evoke it to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control, or something stupid.
All right, moving on. We got Chef's Kiss. Chef's Kiss is 2 reds, 1 generic mana for an instant. It says gain control of target spell that targets only a single permanent or player. Copy it, then reselect the targets at random for the spell and the copy. The new targets can't be you or a permanent you control. A lot of text on this card.
It's
It's
definitely a lot of text. I don't think any of the text is anything that I really care about, though. We've seen kind of like these wild ricochet effects before. I don't really think that they're ever that good. They're only as good as the spell that you are copying, or I guess redirecting. And like, I don't care. This one doesn't even stop the original.
yeah, yes, it moves the
Oh, you know
original
what?
away from you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. I misread that. So that was my bad there.
It just randomly shoots the original in the copy, not at you. So if you're just playing a 1v1, it goes back to your opponent. If you're playing a multiplayer setting like Commander, you can shoot anyone at the table with whatever's getting shot at you.
Yeah. I mean, it says targets too, so it's not necessarily even a target player or a target.
Yeah, it's target player or permanent.
I mean, yeah, it's just I'm opening it up to the fact that like you can end up hitting some weird shit with this. I don't know. I'm gonna stand by my original statement on this though. I don't like these kinds of cards.
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a little little spice just to randomly shoot something for 3 mana. If it's getting, say they have a destroy or exile target creature I control or deal a whole bunch of damage to my face, and I just shoot 2 people with
Yeah, but like that's a very specific scenario. I feel like 90% of the time, a simple counter spell will do more for you.
That's true. All right. Last but not least, what do we got, David?
It might be least. This is the only uncommon that we're going to be talking about today. So this is Extruder. It is 4 generic mana for an artifact creature Juggernaut. It's a 4/3 with Echo 4. And that states that at the beginning of your upkeep, if this came under your control, since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice it unless you pay its Echo cost. It also has sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact. Is there anything that you wanted to add for this before I kind of rant a little bit?
That this is a reprint. That's kind of it.
Alrighty. I don't know. I just wanted to include this because I see the fact that this has infinite combo potential. It can sacrifice itself to put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. So I mean, if you do happen to have some kind of way to recast this, or infinite mana, you can get infinite +1/+1 counters. However, I think that there are more efficient ways to do that. I'm curious to see if maybe there's a way to do that in the limited environment for this set. So that might be something that I want to keep my eye on. That was really the only kind of thing that I wanted to talk about with this card, though.
So you can see like an infinite combo going off in Commander and stuff.
I can see this being a piece to an infinite combo, yes.
I mean,
However, that infinite combo is just going to put infinite, or I guess an arbitrarily large number of +1/+1 counters on creatures. So
the original card came from Urza's Destiny, but I don't know. This being new to Modern is an interesting thing. We've seen some powerful artifacts in Modern. This could improve that even more. But the original card is only 11 cents, so.
oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this is good and you should go out and pick this up. I'm just saying that I wanted to include it because I can see a world in which this is part of some crazy ass jank combo that might actually happen in limited.
Well, that's all the spoilers that we thought that were important today. Would you say that today was better than yesterday, or?
We got Subtlety, which I think is probably the only like definitive playable card that I've seen so far. So I'm gonna say yes. I also do like the Planeswalker that got spoiled today. I think it's a really interesting and very unique design. As a whole, though, I gotta say, as each day passes, I'm becoming less and less excited for this set. It's really shaping up to me to feel more like an unset that wants to be powerful, but it's not quite. It's playing it too safe.
I'll say that I did like today's spoilers a little bit better. I felt like we had less. We had less spoilers today than yesterday. But they had quality over quantity today, which was nice. I enjoyed reading new things, trying new ideas, not necessarily executing them correctly, but the new ideas I enjoy.
Excited to see what they come out tomorrow.
Yeah, paves the way for maybe better things. So again, these aren't all the spoilers. If you want to see all the spoilers, please follow us on our Instagram. That's instagram.com/guysthatmagic. We post every single spoiler that has been announced up on our Instagram. Very simple. Also, like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you didn't. Be sure to comment if you want to leave a comment. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day. This is Guys That Magic.
Later.